My name is Dr. Paul Ayella. I'm the Director for Irrigation Development Department in Atiak Sugar. These are the center pivots. How they work is the center pivots have the, um, the, the sprinkler heads that are installed at the top. The sprinkler heads are selected based on the crop water demand, which is computed during the crop water balance, taking advantage of factors of the local climate, the soil, and the crops that we intend to irrigate, which is sugarcane. The water demanded at every stage of growth is different, and it's the basis in which we chose the size of the sprinkler to use. How the center pivots work is this iron structure is designed to supply all the sprinkler heads with the adequate quantity of water it demands per hour, which the quantity which we designed the center pivot is to irrigate the crop is 6 millimeters per day, which is the net application rate, and the gross application rate of 6.7 millimeters per day. And when we add all the applications that are supposed to be supplied by each of the sprinklers, then we get the application rate that is required at the base of the center pivot. The application rate required at the base of the center pivot, that is the water that is required to flow through the system, is 220 meters cube per hour for an 8-span center pivot, which is like this one in CP42. And then from the base of the center pivot, how does it work? How do we get the water? The water is supplied through a pipeline system, which in this case we have two sources. We have an on-farm reservoir which supplies water through a main pipeline which passes through a series of center pivots, and it will have an offtake to each center pivot, supplying the quantity which is needed by each center pivot, the maximum of which is 220 meters cube per hour for each. And then at the river station, we have what is called a pumping station. A pump is designed to supply a number of center pivots, the maximum of which is around 15, supplied by each pump. And it supplies a group of center pivots through a network of pipes to the base of the center pivots, then to the sprinklers, and then to the plants. That is the basis of how it works. Irrigation is actually, we need to apply water when there is none, when there is no rain. In essence, irrigation is creating artificial rain. So we don't need to irrigate when there is water. For our system, this system, when it's fully installed, the 62 center pivots, it will collect relevant weather data from the nearby stations that we have installed within the factory. The rainfall data, the sunshine, the humidity data will come to a central database that will inform our center pivot whether we need to apply that day. So we only apply water when the moisture condition of the soil is very low. And when the moisture condition of the soil is not bad, we don't need to add water. In that sense, we will enhance the efficiency of water use into our system. But in the initial stages, since we are going to fire these center pivots in stages, before the installation of the automatic system, which is called FieldNet, that will supply the weather data into a central database that processes to see the water balance and hence irrigation is not yet in place, we shall operate this manually. That means we shall have our field irrigation agronomists that will, using a piezometer, check for us the moisture condition on a particular day X. If the soil is really so dry, then manually we shall say, today we are going to irrigate for this length of time to increase the moisture condition from this condition to this condition. The total design command area is 4,150 hectares for the entire phase 1 of Atiak irrigation scheme. and they are categorized into 5 blocks. As we've faced a little bit of challenges on boundary issues of the land. So far, right now, the pace of installation of our center pivots has been really fast. We install them between 4 days to 9 days, which we have completed. And the 9 days is the extreme side due to weather conditions, which means in 4 days, one center pivot is finished. Which in 40 days, we finished 10 center pivots, which means in less than 3 months, we would have almost finished all the 62 center pivots. But currently, we have installed of the 62 center pivots, 26 center pivots, which are now having the pipeline routes going to their base. As you can see here, this is the pipeline route with the pipes over there, which is bringing the water to center pivot 42. In essence, now we are ready to fire 26 center pivots if the pipeline is ready, because the center pivots are all up. But because our pump suppliers have also delayed, we are having a temporary solution, which is a standalone pump, which supplies 220 meters cube of water per hour for around 8 bars, which supply 1 center pivot at a time. This pump, we got it from a local supplier in Kenya, which will be supplying the near center pivots to the river, which they are around 9. So 9 center pivots in the next 2 weeks is ready to be fired, which are located around the river, because the pump will be there. The pumps will be mounted on a wheel, and it will fire each in turn as the entire network of the pipe in the area through a centralized pumping system is finalized. Network of the pipes for the entire area is around 80.5 kilometers of pipe. We have so far welded 13 kilometers of pipe, and we have tested 8 kilometers of pipe, because this is the testing process through, we are using pneumatic because of the complexity of having to fill water instead of hydrostatic. Under a normal situation, we're supposed to test with water, but we are using air, which is also good enough to see the strength and the leakage of the joint. This takes a little bit of time, and the trenching and the ground condition is taking a lot of time. But so far, we have done 13 kilometers of pipe, and yeah, that is what has lagged behind the installation of the center pivots. It's much more require more labor intensive. We hope to finish 47 center pivots by August this year with the pipelines complete. That is around 6 center pivots close to the river. They are ready to be fired. We are only putting the temporary line to the river directly, and the pump apron where the mobile pump will sit, and they will be up for firing. And those are the center pivots that right now we are focused on to plant sugarcane, because they will receive water as the entire work of the farm goes on. So that one, in roughly a month, we shall have all of them be fired.